Of war. It is a video that is played during times of war in this country. It is meant to stir up the local populace. We are told by our Saudi friends and contacts here that this is almost the equivalent of at least recognizing, perhaps even celebrating the U.S. attack earlier today, your time, or last night our time. We can now show you what's on television live as we're seeing it. This is a video we're told is called The Crime of the Century, and it's about what happened to Kuwait, the invasion of Kuwait on August 2nd. It's produced by the Saudis and the Kuwaitis, and of course those are the women who protested during the occupation and some of the graffiti that is written against Iraq. Now, just about a half an hour ago, more air activity here. Another 16 American warplanes took off from the airfield nearby. And we also noticed that a couple of Saudi tornadoes roared out of here also to support that effort.
You mean the British aircraft tornadoes?
Well, the Saudis have the tornadoes, and so do the British. There are 4 countries represented, and they are the 4 that are involved in this air campaign: the U.S., the Saudis, the British, and the Kuwaitis. All of those planes are represented at this particular airfield.
Do you have any sense of what the Kuwaitis and the Saudis actually did on this mission at all?
Well, I suspect it's more symbolic than anything else. The planes that the Kuwaitis fly are Hawks, and they're not terribly effective. They're somewhat effective, but not nearly as effective as American F-15s. The Saudis also fly American F-15s, but they perhaps were used in a defensive role more than anything else.
How have people been reacting on the ground to what's been going on over the last 4 or 5 hours?
Well, the sirens stirred up the things quite a bit here, and you can understand that. But we have talked to Saudis who are in our vicinity, and they seem genuinely pleased. There's been a strong will here for some time to go to war, to wipe out, as they see it, the threat to the kingdom.
And you yourselves have been sent to the shelters a few times?
Twice during the past several hours, air raid warnings went off. We were told by the Marines that a Scud missile alert was in effect. Everybody was evacuated and sent into the basement with the gas masks that we've all been issued here by our representative companies.
Can you hold it up a little higher?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can now.
This is essentially the mask. We also have chemical warfare suits, but for the most part, the masks were what were being carried by everyone here.
Our medical editor, Tim Johnson, having done a study of this over the last several days, told me that the gas masks issued to U.S. forces in the Gulf were not up to the par of America's allies in the Gulf. Have you heard anything about that?
I've heard that same criticism, and in fact, the gas masks that we purchased for our people here are of British design, if that tells you anything.
What else, Bill? What about military activity elsewhere in the province? Have you been able to get a handle on that? Is the Joint Information Bureau there giving you anything at all this morning?
So far, no. We had posed this question much earlier this evening when the attack began, and we were told that the flow of information would come first from Washington, probably the White House, and then it would come through the Pentagon, and eventually it would filter down to Riyadh and maybe someday here to the Eastern Province, which is one of the major military staging areas. So that's been the chain of command, and we've heard no further military details at this hour.
Okay, Bill, thanks very much. We look forward to talking to you a little later on.